So to get the soundboard up and running in the chapel, you'll turn on this white button here, just press and release. And that'll begin a sequenced startup of the system. To get the microphones ready, you'll pull out batteries from this drawer. The solid green light means the batteries are fully charged. And then the next drawer up, you can pull out the wireless microphone and set that up here. You unscrew the bottom and put your batteries in here. Once you have the batteries in, you'll press and release this button. Hold it in for about 2 seconds, then you'll see it come up. The most common mistake people make with these mics is they'll touch this button by mistake, and that will mute it, so you just need to touch it again. Then going over to the soundboard, you should be on this page, so that light needs to be green, and this light needs to be green. If they're not, make sure you go ahead and touch those. And then coming over here to the house, you want to bring it up to about the 0 mark. And this light needs to be dark. If it's lit, go ahead and push that. And the same with this one, it needs to be dark for the vocals. Then you'll come over to this side and look for wireless 1. You can unmute that and bring it up to about the halfway mark. And then when you speak into the mic, you should be heard. 1, 2. You should be able to hear yourself through the monitor there. And the way it works in the chapel here, everything coming through that speaker should be maybe a little bit louder than what you would expect that you would need it to be. And that's normally proper for what's down there. So if you want to set up a second one, you do the same thing with number 2. So you'll notice these are labeled with a 1 and the other one's labeled with a 2. Also, number 1 has this white stripe around it, so it's easier to keep track of them when they're out there if they're getting passed back and forth. So if you want to set up number 2, it's going to be the one right next to it. If you want to use a lavalier, if you'd like to use that, just pull it out. You're going to slide this top cover back. This is where your batteries go. And then once the cover's back on, you'll press and release this top button. You're going to hold in for about 2 seconds and release it. It should have a green light on it. If it gets tapped again, it'll go to mute. So you want to tap it again for it to go live. And then over on the soundboard here, you're going to pick the one that says LAV1. Now I had some trouble with this microphone, so I had to move it over to number 2. So it says 1 on the box, but it's actually on lavalier 2 channel. So you can see the meter starting to read check 1, 2. So you'll bring that up to about the quarter point, and that should be a good starting point for you with the lavalier microphone. And again, that's what these meters are for. They'll help you see when you're getting a signal or not from the device that's being sent out. Okay, and I should probably stop right here. When you're using the lavalier mic, the lapel mic, the thing about the lapel, it's more prone to feedback. So to get the most out of it volume-wise without it starting to feedback, in which case you'd have to bring the volume down to stop it from doing that, you want to put the microphone pretty close to the mouth, so about 5 inches down. You know, if someone's wearing a tie, I'll put it just below the knot and make sure it's pointing right up at their chin. If it's a woman wearing a blouse, you tend to kind of just clip it onto the blouse there. You just don't want it like, if someone's wearing a zip up, you don't want it like pointing over their shoulder, because then you're bringing up the volume, and then you'll start getting a lot of feedback. So that's the only downside to using the lapel mic, is get it close, and then you won't have to use so much of the volume, and then that'll help you avoid the feedback. So if you come over here, you can see the battery levels for the handhelds and for the lavalier microphones from up here. When you're finished with everything, just go ahead and press and release this button, and that'll start an organized shutdown process of the sound system.